Okay, it's great. People are starting to wake up in droves. They're starting to see that if the mainstream media says it's black, it turns out it's white. If it's hot, it's cold. If they tell you it's raining, go outside and you'll see it's sunny. Right? But they count on you not going outside. They count on you staying in your little cave, and they'll tell you what's going on. Now, they don't really just, control the dialogue. They control the very words that they use, and they've seeded you with with words. And whenever you call them on it, you'll see them get very flustered, and you'll be able to see that they have a hard time when you begin to use your own words and not the words that they want you to use. One of the great examples was detained, right? Like, we don't know what the word detained means. They detained Rand Paul. He didn't get on the plane. He was detained. And then, you see them trying to back away from calling him crazy about TSA, or even mentioning Ron Paul and TSA in the same breath, because getting rid of the TSA is a wildly popular position among the Americans. I mean, Democrat, Republican, Independent, doesn't matter. People don't like the TSA. And, Ron Paul raised huge amounts of money in the get rid of the TSA campaign in a very short amount of time. So detained, they don't seem to know what detained means, but they'll use the word racist, right? I mean, just the very words, not even controlling the dialogue or getting you to argue about the wrong thing, which is great. They love it if they can get you to argue about something that doesn't matter over here, and then they can be over here doing whatever the heck they want, right? So the way they play both sides through the middle is what they say oftentimes. But no, they love it if they can get you arguing about carbon dioxide instead of understand, right? Because most people don't understand that it's not particulate matter. Carbon dioxide, I'm breathing out a colorless, odorless gas right now. Most people think carbon and they think black and they think coal mines and they think black smoke and ash. No, they're talking about carbon dioxide. But racist. Of course they're going to call him a racist. The guy that's been talking about the drug war being Jim Crow and getting rid of the people that, or getting people out of jail who have, just for holding and who have committed no violent crimes, and getting them back on the road to being productive, and, pardoning them, and, getting their lives back just for marijuana, or just for holding crack, or just for holding ice where they weren't, dealing, and they weren't, but nonviolent offenders, letting them out. Who are predominantly affected by this? Minorities, particularly blacks, but minorities, Hispanics, right? And he's the racist. Of course he's not the racist. But that's what they want to call him, because they want to control the dialogue. So they label him with that. Try to keep, right? Because you don't want to vote for a racist. Nobody wants to vote for a racist. Isolationist, they call him an isolationist when he's the only one that wants to trade with Cuba. He's the one that says that our policies toward Cuba are outdated and outmoded, and he wants to, offer the olive branch to Iran and maybe use diplomacy, mutual respect instead of mutual destruction, diplomacy with Syria, diplomacy with other countries, because he understands that our military and our industrial complex are the tools of the bankers, and what the bankers do, it's all about the money. What the bankers do is use our military to install central banks to make it safe for corporations to go in there and basically try to get those people to become death slaves. Unelectable is a great word. He's unelectable. When he's drawing crowds of 4,000, 5,000 people and nobody else is. So they're backing away from that word, and they've gone back to trying to just ignore him altogether, right? because if they try to say unelectable and then you show the crowds, that's why you need to post all those videos about with thousands of people, literally 4,000 or 5,000 people showing up for Ron Paul. And then, just put the unelectable word in there. Edit the video together and put unelectable with a question mark, unelectable, right? People will go, deregulate. Oh, this is a great one. Because Ron Paul will deregulate, and, corporations will run wild. We'll have even more problems. No, Ron Paul's talking about holding these guys accountable, enforcing the laws, having an attorney general that, right? The bankers don't want Ron Paul in there. Because Ron Paul would be the one that would be, this mortgage fraud, he'd be prosecuting the mortgage fraud instead of looking the other way like Obama is. Right? Do you get it? So, of course, they're going to say, oh, he's going to deregulate. Oh, he's a libertarian. He wants less laws, and there'll be mayhem. That's exactly the opposite of what Ron Paul is talking about. Ron Paul is talking about freeing you and I up to do business and, holding these bankers accountable. So, of course, they use the word, deregulate to make it sound like, he's one of the Republican corporate raiders, and that he wouldn't be loan fraud and the whole financial crisis. Ron Paul, out of all of them, is the one that understands economics and using Austrian economics to figure out what the hell was happening and predicting what would happen, and then holding these guys accountable after he. I mean, he's not just saying "I told you so." He's saying we need to go after these guys. So of course they use the word deregulate, and that he would be, anyway. Creationist. They got me with this one. They got me with creationist because in my mind, creationist means 6,000 years ago the earth was created by the baby Jesus and the Noah's Ark with the dinosaurs on it. No, he's talking about a creator, an almighty creator that created the universe. Does he 100% believe in evolution? No, but he also says that the two don't have to be mutually exclusive. You can have a creator and then you could have evolution. I know a lot of people that believe that. But in fact, by that definition, most people are creationists. They believe in a creator. But they try to make him out like he's some crazy religious. No. Again, no. Let's see. Social issues. Oh, God, he's weak on social issues. Or he's strong on social issues, but he's weak on foreign policy, depending on who you talk to. Or depending on, how they're spinning it that day. Well, the social issues are important, but they're not as important as war and the Federal Reserve and the fact that we've had inflation for almost 100 years now. They've slowly but surely inflated the currency to the point where it's becoming worth less, and you guys can't even afford your birth control. But then they're going to say, oh, his foreign policy. He needs to change his foreign policy. The reason why he's so wildly popular is because he's talking peace, and he's supposed to be talking peace in a Christian nation. You'd think that would be more popular among the Christians, right? Because they pray to the Prince of Peace. But his again, if they say it's black, it's white. Notice how they're not using the word weapons of mass destruction. They stay away from that because, like a popular song, they used it too much, and now people are wary. Weapons of mass destruction. They got fooled. They know they got fooled. So of course they're saying nuclear. They got nuclear. They're gonna get a bomb. They're gonna drop it on us. They're gonna drop it on Israel, where all those Palestinians are, because they're going to be indiscriminate and just kill Jews and Palestinians like crazy. They're not on the side of the Palestinians. Your arguments are just so ridiculous. It's painful. But again, they control the very words. So it's not weapons of mass destruction they're trying to fool you with this time. Now it's nukes. Now it's nuclear. Now it's nuclear energy. Now it's the nuclear option. Now it's all right. Stable economy. The Fed has created a stable economy. No, it hasn't. The Fed has created a economy where we've had boom and bust cycles for over 100 years now. And it's 100% contrived because they control the currency, they control the interest. Our presidents from going back 200 years have said, he who controls the currency is the absolute master of the economy. Right? The medium of exchange was supposed to be in our hands via the Congress and the Treasury, and we've given it to a private central corporation, a private central bank, and they loan the money to us. Conspiracy theory. I covered that already, but I mean, of course, they're going to call it a conspiracy theory. And see, the Ron Paul guys are coming right up against the concept of voter fraud and the fact that the vote's not safe and the media's not covering it. How can they not cover this stuff? How can they keep saying, "Oh, you've never won," and never talk about how you've never won because of the vote fraud? You've never won. A better question would be, why haven't I come in first when I have the largest crowds? A better question would be, how is it possible that you guys can't count delegates when even with a simple, total off the back of a napkin, we can see that he has more than the official 44 or 45 or 50 that you guys are talking about? And how do you know that how many delegates there are when the caucuses haven't even decided who's going to be delegates yet? We've had the popular votes, but the delegates aren't all decided anywhere. So how do you even know that? Collateral damage, right? We have this whole thing about the 16 people getting massacred in Afghanistan. Okay, there's no defending that on any stretch of the imagination, and I'm not. But what I am going to say is that we've got plenty of times when the collateral damage is a lot more than 16. When we drop a bomb, we got 2 bad guys, but we killed 28, innocents. Okay, now, but of course, because that's apparently okay because we were going after the bad guys, whereas with these 16, it was just wanton murder of civilians. But what's the difference? 16, 20, 25, 30, these guys are getting killed. So they don't even want to tell you that it's, grandma and babies and beautiful women getting killed. It's just collateral damage. Let's see. Enhanced interrogation. We can't even say the word torture. Right? That cruel and unusual punishment. Read the 8th Amendment. How simple is it? They didn't use tons of words to make the most simple, basic concepts clear to you in our Constitution. It's cruel. Is waterboarding cruel? then it's prohibited by the Constitution. Would you do it to your kids? Would you waterboard your kids? Would you be that cruel to your kids? Well, if you wouldn't do it to your kids, you shouldn't do it to anybody else either. Very simple stress test there. This is not hard stuff. These are not complex issues, complex concepts that you need, pundits to explain to you. Right? You're supposed to be a Christian, and you don't have a problem with torture. I need to do it, right? It's all about control, my guys. Right? It's all about control. Support the troops. There's a nice little slogan. Support the troops. Support the troops by putting them in harm's way and getting them killed. Supporting the troops wouldn't be bringing them home and having them spending their paycheck here and patrolling our borders instead of the borders of Korea and Pakistan and God knows all the different places our troops are in far-flung places where hard men are doing their job at night thanklessly. Why don't you bring them home? Well, you wouldn't want that because the drug war and so forth. You wouldn't want to have our troops stationed on the borders north and south so that people couldn't get through, right? Patrolling our borders because we've got all kinds of crazy things that are going on especially our southern border. Porous as heck. Let's see, public safety. Oh my gosh, public safety. There's a great one. So, public safety. Right? And they coach people to say public safety because they'll get through the most crazy laws, in the name of public safety. And of course, child safety is the other one. That's how they're going to try and restrict the internet and so forth. And they try to say public safety and wiretapping. They'll misuse words as much as possible to try and keep you from documenting what's going on. Because see, the mainstream media can't tell a lie and then have you guys putting video up that contradicts them on the internet. Hence all these laws about trying to get you to stop filming and stop using your cameras and stop using, right? That's one of the best pieces of technology that's come out. News, it's not even news. It's just stories. It's theater. Right? Whatever story in theater they can give you is what it is. It's not news. And a lot of times they'll even admit that it's not news. They'll tell you it's opinion, right? Or it's edutainment, or not even edutainment. It's I can't remember the word. It's it's infotainment, but it's not even information, so it doesn't count. Pharma always wants to use the word safe. Mercury is safe. We can use the safe kind of mercury. Is there any safe kind of mercury that you can think of? Right? If it's not okay in your cosmetics, it's probably not okay to inject it in the kids. If it's not even safe on your skin or to be exposed to it, it's probably not safe to eat it or have it injected in you. Or have it in your teeth. But yet they'll try and say it's safe. They'll use safety. Oh, this is safe. Right? And then talk about math. You need to learn some math terms and some math concepts. Revision to mean is one you need to understand. Look that one up. Because if silver and gold just return to mean, they got a long way to go. Instead, they try to throw around the word bubble and stuff. But revision to mean, learn what that means. That simple concept. That's a critical concept. Revision to mean, all fiat currencies revert to their intrinsic value in BTUs, as Max Kaiser said. When the fiat currency finally hyperinflates, it's the paper's value of how much it can be used for heating because people will be burning it. But really, revision to mean, all fiat currencies fail. Always. The paper is worthless. When it's redeemed, when that coupon is no longer redeemable for anything, it becomes worthless because they print too much of it. That is the main issue. Damn it. The main issue is the Federal Reserve. Let's see. A geometric progression. There's another math term that you should know. Geometric progression is what's happening. That's how an idea whose time has come finally just makes it into the consciousness. Because I tell 5, and they tell 5, and they tell 5, and they tell 5. You understand that all humans are connected within 6 or 7 generations? Right? You know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, wherever it is. Outer Mongolia, Africa, in a city, in the wild, Eskimos, it doesn't matter. We're all connected. They know it's 6 generations. But if you use geometric progression, you can see that, I make videos and then use my links and then other people use the links and then so, right? Now, it's not perfect because if geometric progression was perfect, everybody would be Christian or everybody would be Jewish or everybody would be Muslim, right? Everybody would belong to Amway or everybody, right? But you can get a majority of people very quickly using social media. This is why they're going to try and control social media. This is why they try to control the internet. And the words that they'll use to control the internet, pornography, child pornography, right? Or they'll try to public safety, child safety, when they can't even keep the priests from keeping their hands off the children. And then they won't even touch the stories about our Congress and about, the child prostitution rings that go on, in Washington D.C. where little boys, anyway, and of course that's conspiracy theory, but not anymore because you're starting to be able to prove it, and people are starting to understand that where's the most cocaine, where is the prostitution on Wall Street, but there's a separate set of laws for those people, and Ron Paul comes out and talks about you being able to not have to be put in jail for this. He's the crazy guy. And yet we have, anyway, there's a bunch of words. Ron Paul, 2012.